Hi everybody, we are just about to start week 3, and so the first thing I wanted to do is remind you of this drop date that is actually today. So if you feel like you want to drop the class, today is actually the last day to do that. If you remain in the class after today, then I have to give you a grade for the class. So just let me know. I do believe that I can drop you after today and backdate it, but you do need to communicate with me about that. And I think I only have maybe one more week to do that. So it's really, really important that you communicate with me about that. Okay. But what I really want to do is get into the week's module and show you our assignments for the week. So let me jump right into the module for this week, starting with the summary page. What you'll notice is that we have fewer assignments this week than we've had in the past couple weeks. And one of the reasons for that is give you a little bit of a break, a little bit of an opportunity to catch up, but also this first assignment is maybe going to take you a little bit longer. Well, you can judge and see if you think that's true. So this first assignment is a summary. It's a really, really important concept called the critical period theory or the critical period hypothesis. And this has to do with language acquisition, language learning, the way that people learn, either really young children. It also applies to individuals who are a little bit older. And so the idea here is that there is a window of time when humans are able to learn optimally, able to learn, or more specifically acquire language. So there is a difference here, technically between the words, the definitions of the words learn and acquire, and that is really, important to understand. So there's kind of two parts to this. First is understanding the idea of the critical period theory or hypothesis. So that's the first part. And in order to do that, what we generally do in linguistics is apply it to this case study. This is a really famous case of Jeannie Wiley. You may have heard of her in psychology classes or child development classes, and she's really famous because you can't just do these kind of experiments on human beings. You can't just take babies or kids or humans and deprive them of language or social interaction and see what happens. That's completely inhumane, right? So we have to kind of take these cases that exist and then look at what happens, what the results of them are. So Jeannie Wiley is a really, really sad case of someone that that this happened to. And so I have the information here. I have links about that, and all the information about her. And there's actually a full documentary about her. It's really, really interesting. It is about an hour long, and I do encourage you to watch it. If you don't have time to watch the whole thing, it's really not important, but I do encourage you to watch at least part of it so that you can see how she does talk or how she does vocalize. It's really interesting to see the way that she makes or attempts to make sounds. It's if you haven't heard her before, it's not like anything that you have probably heard before. She doesn't sound like a typical language learner or even like a deaf person that you've heard before. It is really, really unique. So do get in there and at least for part of it, start watching it. And I think that if you do start watching the documentary, even though it is pretty old and dated, that you'll probably end up watching the whole thing, because it is really, really fascinating. It doesn't just deal with language and linguistics, though. It does deal with psychology and child development. So there are other aspects of it. And then I do have some articles here. So what I want you to do is to first write a summary of what the critical period hypothesis is. So just to summarize it. And then I want you to say, and there's no right or wrong answer to this. This is, researchers come down on both sides of this issue. Say whether you think that Jeannie's case proves or disproves the theory. Okay, and again, we can't just do experiments on people. We have to kind of use the cases that we have. So it's a little controversial here. Okay, the next item in or next assignment that we have is a quiz. And there is an article here that you can read. The quiz is based on this, so the quiz questions should be in the order that you see them. So have that open and go ahead and you can take the quiz. And then the next thing is another summary of something called Generation 1.5. Some of you probably fall into the category of this population. So read up about who Generation 1.5 is, what are their characteristics, and who these students are. This is really the application of these theories of linguistics, and it's really meant for kind of teachers of language learners. But it's really, really interesting. We all have experiences of, trying to learn a second language, whether we're true bilinguals or we were put into, Spanish class or German class when we were in high school, and, maybe forced to learn a little bit in high school and didn't really learn too much. We all have some kind of experience. So read up about that, and then this is what I want you to write about in your summary. Okay. And then the last thing is the discussion. And again, this is about second language learning, and this is specifically asking you about your experience and then applying the theories. This is based on Stephen Krashen, Dr. Krashen. He is kind of the expert that has to do with second language theories, second language learning theories, or second language acquisition theories. And so there's a short YouTube video here that you can watch, and then a pretty short little article here. And so what I want you to do is to write your post. Your post is going to be about your experience, so just write that. And then the replies are going to be talking about the internal and external factors that Stephen Krashen talked about and that you read about in the short article. And I think we can get a pretty good discussion going. And then that is going to be it for the assignments for the week. That takes you to the summary page. Just make sure that you completed everything. And let me know if you have any questions about anything this week. I should be around, and I will talk to you later. All right, thanks.